Every single day, your dog does something that most people never notice. The moment you walk through that door, before you put your bag down, before you check your phone, before you even take your shoes off, your dog is already doing it. They're watching your face, not your hands, not your pockets, not whether you brought food, your face. And here's what's breaking your heart without you ever knowing it. They're waiting for you to do one specific thing in return. Something that takes less than 10 seconds, something that costs nothing, and something that the vast majority of dog owners never actually do. Not because they don't love their dog, but because nobody ever told them this is what their dog needs most. Most people think the most important thing they give their dog is food, walks, and affection. And yes, those things matter. But there's a layer underneath all of that. A layer that modern canine science has only started to fully understand in the last decade. And when you understand it, you'll never walk into your house the same way again. Your dog isn't just happy to see you. They are running a deeply wired biological process every time you return, scanning you, reading you, and waiting for a specific signal from you that tells them, "I see you. You matter. We're okay." And when that signal doesn't come, something shifts in your dog, subtly, quietly, in ways that show up in their behavior, their anxiety, their attachment, and in the bond between the two of you. What we're going to explore today is the science, the psychology, and the emotional reality behind this one thing your dog waits for. We'll walk through exactly what's happening in their brain and body. And by the end of this, you'll understand your dog on a level most owners never reach. Let's go deep. The second you cross the threshold of your home, your dog's nervous system activates. This isn't excitement. Well, it includes excitement. But underneath the wagging and the jumping, something much more sophisticated is happening. Your dog is reading your body language, your scent, the tension in your jaw, the rhythm of your breathing, the quality of your eye contact, all in the first 3 to 5 seconds. Researchers in canine cognition call this social referencing. It's the same behavior human infants use with their caregivers. Before a baby decides how to respond to something new or uncertain, they look at their parent's face for information. Your dog does the exact same thing with you, every single time you come home. Think about it. You've had a long day, you walk in distracted. You glance at your dog, maybe give them a quick pat, and immediately move on to your evening routine. To you, that felt like a greeting. To your dog, it felt like an incomplete conversation. Like someone started a sentence and walked away. The threshold moment is everything, and most owners blow right past it. Here's the one thing. The thing your dog waits for every single day. They're waiting for you to make calm, intentional eye contact and hold it. Not a glance, not a quick "hey buddy" as you walk past. A real, steady, soft-eyed look directly at them. The kind that says, "I'm here. I see you. You have my full attention for this moment." This might sound almost too simple, but the science behind it is anything but. In 2015, a landmark study published in Science by researcher Miho Nagasawa and her team at Azabu University discovered something extraordinary. When dogs and their owners made mutual eye contact, both the dog and the owner experienced a significant rise in oxytocin, the hormone most associated with bonding, trust, and love. This is the same biological loop that occurs between mothers and their newborn infants. Let that sink in. Your dog can trigger the same neurochemical bonding response in you that a mother gets from gazing at her baby. And you can do the same for your dog just by looking at each other. But here's the part most people miss. The loop only activates when the eye contact is mutual, calm, and intentional. Tense eye contact doesn't do it. Distracted glances don't do it. And the absence of it? Over time, that absence quietly erodes something your dog needs at a core level. For decades, dog owners were taught something that now turns out to be deeply damaging to the human-dog bond. They were told that direct eye contact with a dog is a dominance signal, that holding your dog's gaze was confrontational, that you should look away first or you'd create conflict. And so an entire generation of dog owners learned, consciously or not, to avoid looking directly at their dogs. This myth came from misapplied wolf behavior research, and it has cost millions of dogs something they are biologically wired to receive from the people they love. Your dog is not a wolf. Your dog has been selectively bred alongside humans for somewhere between 15,000 and 40,000 years. During that time, one of the most powerful traits that emerged in the domestic dog is what scientists call hypersociality, an almost unprecedented sensitivity to human facial cues and emotional states. Your dog evolved to look at your face. They evolved to seek connection through your gaze. And they evolved to wait for you to look back. When you do, oxytocin rises, cortisol drops, their nervous system settles, and the bond between you deepens in a way that no treat, no toy, no walk can fully replicate. If this is already changing how you see your dog and your role in the relationship, subscribe to Pawthology. New videos every week on canine behavior, attachment science, and the emotional world your dog lives in every single day. When a dog consistently doesn't receive that calm, intentional acknowledgement from their owner, when they come to the door and get a distracted glance or no eye contact at all, something in their behavior begins to shift, and most owners interpret it completely wrong. The dog starts jumping higher, nudging harder, barking more, getting in your way, stealing socks and running, being what most people describe as too much. Here's what's actually happening. Your dog is escalating their bids for connection. They're using every behavioral tool they have to get you to look at them, to stop, to make that contact, because their nervous system is running on an unresolved loop. The scan started, but the signal they needed never came. Imagine reaching out to shake someone's hand and they just walked past you. And then it happened again and again. Eventually, you'd try tapping them on the shoulder, then waving your arms. The behavior looks excessive from the outside, but from the inside, it's just a creature desperately trying to complete a connection. The saddest part? Many of these dogs get scolded for that behavior, when all they were ever asking for was a moment of your eyes. And here's where it gets even more interesting, because what happens after you start giving this to your dog is something most owners describe as almost immediate. The change is that fast. What does this actually look like in practice? Because it's not complicated. It's almost embarrassingly simple. You come home before anything else, before you put your keys down, before you check your phone, you stop. You get low if you can. You let your dog come to you. And then you look at them, softly, directly. You hold that gaze for 5 to 10 seconds. You let your face go warm and open. You breathe slowly. That's it. 10 seconds of calm, present, intentional eye contact. In that moment, both your nervous systems are regulating each other. Your cortisol drops, theirs does too. Oxytocin rises in both of you simultaneously. Your dog's brain, which has been waiting and scanning since you left, receives the signal it was waiting for. You're back. I see you. We're connected. Everything is okay. People who start doing this consistently report something that surprises them. Their dog becomes calmer, more settled, less clingy throughout the evening, less reactive at the door the next day, less over the top in general. Not because the dog got more rules, not because of training, but because an emotional need, a biological need, was finally being met every single day. One dog owner described it like this: "I started doing it last Monday. By Wednesday, my dog just exhaled, like he'd been holding his breath for months." This isn't just about the moment at the door. Dogs have an extraordinary capacity for what researchers call episodic-like memory, the ability to store the emotional quality of specific experiences with specific people. Your dog doesn't just remember that you fed them. They remember how you were when you fed them. They don't just remember the walk. They remember whether you were present or distracted during it. They store the emotional signature of every interaction they have with you, and the emotional quality of your gaze, calm versus tense, present versus absent, warm versus distracted, gets filed away in that memory system over thousands of interactions. This means the bond your dog has with you isn't built on the big moments. It's built on the accumulation of small ones. The quality of your attention every morning. Whether you looked at them when they brought you their toy, whether you made eye contact when they came to lean against your leg, your dog is building a picture of who you are to them, one glance at a time. There are dogs, good dogs, loved dogs, dogs in stable homes, who go their entire lives without ever receiving this kind of intentional, present acknowledgement from their owner. They're fed well, walked regularly, played with sometimes, but the humans in their life have never fully seen them, never stopped, never held their gaze in that soft, connected way. These dogs often show what behaviorists describe as secure-based disturbance. They struggle to self-regulate. They become excessively clingy. They're more prone to anxiety, and they often show a pattern of hypervigilance that their owners mistake for personality. He's just an anxious dog, people say. But often what they're describing is a dog who learned, over years, that the emotional signal they needed most was never reliably coming. And so they stayed alert, always watching, always waiting. The beautiful thing, and this is what the research consistently shows, is that it's almost never too late. Dogs are extraordinarily responsive to changes in their owner's attentiveness and emotional presence. When you start showing up differently, they start feeling differently, remarkably fast. Your dog woke up this morning thinking about you. While you were making coffee, while you were getting dressed, while you were running through your to-do list, your dog was waiting, not just for food, not just for the walk. They were waiting for the moment you'd stop, the moment you'd look at them, really look, and let them know that in that 10-second window, nothing else existed. That's the thing they wait for. That's the thing most owners never give them. Not out of neglect, not out of lack of love, just because nobody ever explained what was actually happening on the other side of that gaze. You know now, and knowing this changes the relationship. It changes how you walk through your own front door. It changes what you do in the first 30 seconds you're home. It changes the quiet moments in the evening when your dog puts their head on your lap and looks up at you. Look back, hold it, let them feel you there. That's not a small thing. For your dog, that might be everything. If this video gave you something real, if it made you think about your dog in a way you hadn't before, please hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more dog owners who need to hear this. And I want to ask you one specific question in the comments. When was the last time you really stopped and looked your dog in the eyes with nothing else on your mind? Tell me below. I read every single one. And if you're not subscribed yet, this is the kind of content we make every week on Pawthology. Canine behavior, attachment science, and the emotional world your dog lives in that most people never get to see. See you in the next one.